come back for August of 2024. We're going to be talking about our thoughts on this past season, which was maximum effort. Yeah, we may not have name dropped it there last time, but we know now. Maximum effort dropped there in July, and now we're getting ready to get into August, which is the Young Avengers season. We'll talk about what we unlocked this season and some of the meta, which might be a little bit more of an extended conversation than usually what we do, because I put some notes on there to talk about some of the new things that they instituted just recently. So, well, then let's get to it. Let's talk about maximum effort. So that dropped July 9th of 2024. Our first card, the one that came with the season, was Gwenpool. 4 cost, 6 power. On reveal, pick a random card your hand 3 times. Give +2 power each time. So I didn't get her, but I did have the chance to play with her in an Airsham deck because she ended up in my hand at some point. I didn't buy the season, so I didn't get the card itself. Didn't seem to be a game breaker, but then again, I don't know if I was facing people that had a strategy with Gwenpool or if they were in the same boat I was where Airsham was involved. So nothing really seemed like it was just made me go, okay, this card's broken. Did you run into it all? You ended up getting the season last season, right?
Oh yeah, I had to. She was number 1 or number 2 on my list of cards that they needed to include. So,
right.
Yeah, I've long been a Gwenpool fan in the comics. So yeah, I got her. Yeah, she's not going to make or break the game unless you recycle a few times, team her up with Wong or the Grandmaster or Absorbing Man, something like that. Or get your hand paired down pretty well, because then there's no mystery as to who's going to get the bonus. So right. you can't build a deck counting on Gwenpool to win the game for you. But if the cards fall right, she can make a big difference.
She can help. All right. Well, then we got Bob from Hydra. 1 cost, 4 power. After each turn, this moves if a player snapped. And I think I saw him once or twice. He showed up a couple times. I got to watch somebody snap and move him, but it didn't seem like there was much of a strategy involved with him, as far as I could tell, for the people that I played against. So, how about you? What did you see?
I got him with a spotlight key, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is cool." 1 cost, 5 power card, and he moves. I can use him with Craven. I can do all kinds of, and I put him in a lot of decks, and he didn't stay in very many decks.
Oh, no.
He's not bad. He's a 1 cost, 5 power, and unlike Martyr, doesn't promise to lose you the game, which happened to me a couple times this season.
She hurt me. I was running a deck that filled some lanes and didn't fill a lane, and she just crushed my dreams twice. I watched the spot turn red, and then she got up and moved, and I'm like, oh, jeez. But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so I used him. I think I had Hydra Bob and Martyr in my Living Iron Slot deck at one point, with the goal being that with the Tribunal, it doesn't matter where they end up. The points are going to be distributed the same way. Eventually, I kind of phased him out. Although, when we talk about some of the cards from this season, there's one that he could work pretty well with. Yeah, actually, I did end up going with Martyr over him, because as long as I get the Tribunal, Martyr can't hurt me. I love the idea of making the snap actually affect the gameplay. I think it's a great concept.
Yeah.
Just the execution, it's a little too random for my taste. Given your affinity for chaos, you might enjoy Bob. But I like the concept, but I haven't found the best way to use him yet. And there's so many other 1 cost cards. It's not even so much that he's bad. It's just there's more of a downside to him, and you don't want to just load your deck up with 1 cost cards. It's just hard to justify putting him in over somebody else.
Right. The next up is Ajax. 5 cost, 5 power. Ongoing +1 power for each card in play afflicted with negative power. So the strategy was pretty obvious here. You wanted Ajax in there with Hazmat, ways to get those other powers. Everybody on the board with a negative at some point, and that's going to boost Ajax up. I ended up getting him. I think I got a swath of cards on that one when Ajax came available, or maybe Copycat. Either way, we'll find out when we get to unlocks. And I put him in my Annihilus deck. That seems like a fitting place because...
Oh, sure.
You're going to try and afflict them with as much negative power as you can and then send them over to where they have to deal with them on the other side. And I have not stuck with that deck and played with it as much to really get a good handle on Ajax. Doesn't seem like there's much of a drawback with him being in there. So what's your thoughts?
Well, I took one shot at Ajax and didn't get him. Got another pretty new card called Thanos. Have you heard of this one?
Mm-hmm. Let me check. I got to read up on this.
Use him every once in a while. I'm puzzling him out. So no, I didn't get him. I know I picked him up once from Erisham or Coulson or somebody like that. Most of the time I didn't see a whole lot of difference, but I know a day or two ago I was playing and somebody had the Ajax on there and he was like at a +1 or 2. And then they dropped Hazmat on the last turn and won the Ajax lane pretty handily. So yeah, under the right circumstances, yeah, he can do some damage.
Wow. Next up is Copycat, 3 cost, 5 power. When you draw this, steal the text from the bottom card of your opponent's deck. I first got her. It took me by surprise that you do that without playing the card.
Yeah, like, I don't know if they changed that or if I just totally missed it. But
yeah,
I mean, I was surprised too. The first time I saw her, I was like, oh, so that just happened.
Yeah, it says, I guess it does say when you draw this, it happens. So if you get Copycat in your hand, then you get to see, number one, the card that you stole the text from, because now you have it, and then you can shuffle it on up if you want to. But the thing is that I don't know if that person drew that card and it became useless or not. So you can know immediately if Copycat's making an impact or not as soon as you draw her, possibly. So a card I wanted to get pretty quickly and used it a few times and then just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna try something else. So she's there. I can't say that I remember one game with Copycat. Hasn't happened yet. I'm sure it's going to happen in the future though. How about you?
I got Copycat. I immediately inserted her into the Body Slide by No Fun deck, which is just designed to mess up your opponent. I saw some people, everybody's entitled to their own opinion unless your opinion is that there's something wrong with High Evolutionary. But I saw some people who were complaining about the cards that affect the other player's deck or their side of the board and like, oh, that's just no fun. And I'm like, that's been there from the beginning of the game.
Right.
You either boost up your own stuff or you mess up the other person. You and I have long enjoyed messing up the other person.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, it took me a while before I tried the Darkhawk combo with her. And of course, at some point, I paired her with Silver Surfer because I pair everybody with Silver Surfer, even if they aren't a 3 cost. She works. Sometimes it's pretty interesting what she comes up with. I had her get Red Hulk's powers the other day. A fun addition, kind of a twist on Cable or Baron Zemo, where you don't take the card, just the ability. So yeah, she's a fun one to work into different decks. She's more someone you include in a deck, certainly not one you build around.
Right. Okay, well, the final card, which was a card that you had to go through Deadpool's Diner to acquire, if I remember correctly. I mistakenly said on the last episode that everybody could get her. They just had to work to get her, and you better have worked to get her because I didn't. That is Cassandra Nova, 3 cost, 1 power. On reveal, steal 1 power from each card in your opponent's deck. And I will say that I faced her so many times when I had an Erisham deck. And you watch her go from a 3-1 to a 3-19. And I'm just sitting there going, you've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. The last person that used
her. I got her and played her multiple times, and I don't think I ever faced an Erisham deck.
Every single time I had an Erisham deck, I watched her jump like in insane amounts. The last person I played, though, it felt so good. Shang-Chi punched her right in the face, and I'd won the lane and won the game. But I think a lot of that bitterness is because I was doing the Deadpool's Diner like kind of infrequently, and then the season ended on me, and I'm like, oh no, it's gone. So I don't have any access to Deadpool's Diner is gone. So the only way I'm going to get Cassandra Nova is when she comes up in a Spotlight Cache or whatever. And I'm just kind of heartbroken because I really did want that. I really did want that card. How about you? It sounds like you said you got her, right?
I did get her, but I was worried for a while. I got nothing going. Every time I got momentum, it ended fairly quickly. So I don't know if that technically counts as momentum or not. I was worried there for a while that I wasn't going to make it because I got stuck on, I started to open it up, but it's not there anymore. But shoot, the last one where the minimum was 5 figures instead of 6. I think it was either I think it was the kebabs.
Okay.
And I would try to go up to the one where the minimum was 400,000, and I kept getting smacked down. Finally, I went back. I had tried this one for a while. Went back to my Annihilus deck that got me to Infinite a couple seasons back, and that gave me enough to get Cassandra Nova. And then I think I played 2 more Deadpool's Diners. I was like, nope, I'm done. I got
that was
what
all.
I came for. I'm not sure I can get anything else. Now let's go back to trying to get to Infinite. Spoiler alert, didn't even sniff it. And Conquest and stuff like that. Because I stayed pretty heavy on the Deadpool's Diner trying to get that. But I think, I forget what the prizes were after that. But the only other major one was a Cassandra Nova variant.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't Pixel or Hip. So why bother?
Right.
Maybe if she'd been in a sidecar. But
yeah. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I got her, but I swear I never played her against an Erisham deck.
Unbelievable. I mean, she.
Now, I did finally figure out at some point, and I've played it a few times, but by that point I was getting into the Alliance bounties, so I wasn't just, I was building decks, but I wasn't just picking any old style of deck. I was trying to get those points, but I put her and Copycat in a deck with Darkhawk and Horg in through me fashion after somebody else played that on me, because I'm thinking, well, usually if you get her on turn 3, you're looking at boosting her up to a 7, but if you're pumping their deck full of cards that don't have any points, then that makes her even more dangerous.
Yeah, because you're.
So I tried her a few times with that.
Nice.
So she would definitely, if we would go back and redo the list of characters we like better in Snap than in the comics, she would definitely crack the top 5 on there, because I have no use for Cassandra Nova in the comics. They did, Morrison introduced her, and I'm like, okay, well, that's one character that can stay dead. Like, she worked for that story, but she was evil and disgusting and genocidal, and I don't need more Cassandra Nova, let alone flopping her in Marauders recently to see if she could be an anti-hero.
Oh, really?
It was a good idea, and they didn't go too. She wasn't suddenly angelic or whatever, but I don't know. That's just a character I don't particularly care for. But she's dangerous in Snap, especially if you can double up with her. I saw somebody talking about people using Cassandra Nova and then following it up with Absorbing Man,
right,
or Grandmaster, right, and Odin. And I'm like, oh, that sounds nasty. So I made that deck.
Yeah. Nice. Well, that would be all of the cards.
What to say was, Jesse, you're not missing out on anything.
Oh, okay. Just a card. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. And every time I see her show up, I'll be cursing rather loudly. I'm sure she's going to become available in a Spotlight Cash at some point, because this was a card that was really easily accessible for a lot of people, and I really hope they don't put her behind a wall for too long. But anyway. All right, well, locations. Taco Truck, add a chimichanga to your hand. It's a 0 cost, 2 power, on reveal, merge it with one of your cards there.
Oh, man, you were excited about this one, right?
Gosh. Even Legion couldn't make that thing interesting. I just was not impressed. I can't even remember if I built a deck to try and take advantage of this location.
I didn't build a specific deck. I just used my Gilgamesh deck. I'm like, that's just another card to boost.
Yeah, so I was not excited. I'm reading your notes there. Your note is pretty interesting. What was going on?
I never saw the chimichanga. So I got the card, and it was black. Now, if you tapped on it, I could get the close up, but I'm not sure I ever saw it just on the board.
That's messed up.
So you were like, "Oh, this chimichanga is not impressive," and I was staring into the abyss.
Wow, man,
am I spending too much time on this game? What's up with life? It's +2. Get you an extra card. Useful if somebody's playing Jean Grey, or Morag comes up. I could see it have its place. But you're right. How are you going to plan around it?
Yeah, nothing you can do there. And honestly, the next one, Weapon X Facility, which we got, I don't know what we were hoping that it was going to be something a little different than what it actually was, which it was the simple version of, hey, everybody's going to discard a card and then you get to draw a card. Whippy. Yeah.
It had a tendency to discard whichever card I didn't particularly want it to.
I'm pretty sure I legioned
it. It felt personal.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I legioned it, but again, it's a location.
I'm sure you did.
It's a location that's going to hurt me just as much as it's probably going to hurt the other guy. But the only thing really you could probably do is get a discard deck ready for it and have Legion in that discard deck, but I don't even know if you can build around that.
Good luck, sir. Good luck getting Legion to turn 5 with.
Yeah, best of luck.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Well, with the change to Moon Knight and you throw in Colleen Wing and Blade, it's possible.
Yeah, true. All right,
it's doable. Says the guy who didn't even try it, but I'm sure it's doable.
I'm sure it is. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is our discussion on maximum effort. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.